Hey, now that Halloween is over and out, I thought I would talk about some Halloween movies, fittingly so, just to be really up to date and everything, you know? But it does kind of fit, because Australia didn't get half these movies till like a month or two after everybody else, or at least America. Anyway, here's a jack-o'-lantern thing I made for Halloween. Never made one before. Pretty cool, right? I was actually kind of impressed with this. It turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. Anyway, so let's talk about movies. Today I'm going to just do some quick reviews of 4 different movies, and I'll be talking some spoilers probably, so that's a spoiler warning for you there, but I'm not 100% sure how in-depth I'm going to get. I don't know, I'm just going to see what I'm going to say. Yeah, we have some stuff to talk about. Let's get to it. I also just want to say I'm going to get into these reviews assuming that you have seen these movies. So I'm not really going to explain the plot or get into any of that kind of stuff. I'm just going to basically say some random thoughts that I had about certain things. And yeah, you're going to kind of have to keep up. That's just how this video is going to work. Sorry. Okay, so first up comes Terrifier 2, and I gotta say, Terrifier 2 spoke to me. I absolutely love this movie, and honestly, I think in coming years, this is gonna be, it's gonna become a Halloween classic. It's to certain people. To the kinds of people that this movie is made for, to the kinds of people that appreciate this kind of thing and can stomach this kind of thing, this is gonna be hugely appreciated come down the line, like in a few years and everything. This is gonna be one that's gonna be rewatched and talked about quite a lot, I think, and Art the Clown is quickly becoming his own full-fledged horror icon, if I'm being honest, and he kind of deserves it. I love how he's kind of like this gimmicky, weird, silent clown who's laughing at things, having a bit of fun. He's goofy, but he's fucking sadistic as well. You never quite know what he's thinking, but then there are like little moments where it's so visually clear that it's hilarious. Like, I don't know, when he's smiling and everything, but then somebody does something to piss him off and he just like quickly, how quickly his face becomes filled with disdain. It can be quite hilarious at times. I love that, yeah, it's a character that like kind of goofs off and everything, but is another one to be really quite like scared of, at least for his victims anyway, because my god, his kills are brutal. I will say that in Terrifier 2, one of the kills in particular, I think took it too far. Where he's taking off somebody's scalp, he's putting, I don't remember exactly what, but salt and whatever chemicals and shit on wounds and stuff. Like, this one was super fucked, and I was like, wow, okay, that's not even funny anymore, dude. Like, you're taking it way too seriously, but I mean, too far. But pretty much, Terrifier 2 just impressed the hell out of me. Who would have thought that that would have been the better Halloween movie than Halloween Ends this year? But it was, and by far. Not only was it a better Halloween movie, like, it's a better movie in general, but it's also better in terms of being a Halloween movie thematically. It feels more like Halloween than Halloween Ends did. Like, just the costumes, the streets, the trick-or-treating, the decorations in the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. It just feels like a Halloween movie, and it's really cool. I also think that, you know, the protagonist and the main story and everything was like enough to go on. I liked that stuff quite a bit, especially compared to the original Terrifier, which I also have to point out, I actually hate. I really dislike the first Terrifier movie. I think it's just, yeah, pretty much just sadistic stuff for the point of it, like for the sake of it. There's not really any hope for the victims to get away. You know they're not going to. They're just gonna get killed. And there's not really a story to put all of this on. Like, there's nothing to really pay attention to. It's just a series of violent kills for no real reason, and they don't feel super justified or fun. It just feels like you're watching a series of murders, and it's not that fun for me, to be honest. Maybe I'm just a pansy. I can't take it or some shit. But to me, I don't know. Terrifier 2 surpasses the original by far. The original just feels a little pointless and just dumb to me, if I'm being honest. It feels like it's trying too hard to be shocking. And look, Terrifier 2 is trying hard to be shocking as well. I will be honest. But it does it really effectively, and it also isn't afraid to have fun. I just think, I don't know. This is honestly probably going to make it in my top 10 of this year. It really, really, really impressed me. I love it, and I now love Art the Clown. Like that scene where they're in the costume shop, by the way, if you've seen the movie, and he's trying on sunglasses, and it cuts away, and then it cuts, and he's got like different sunglasses on, and then he's got the little horn thing, and he's just holding it to her ear, and she's just like, don't. There's just some great moments of tension in there as well, and just everything about this movie was pretty fantastic, to be honest. And I think that in Terrifier 2, they figured out how to use Art the Clown more effectively. They use him a little bit more sparingly. He's not in every scene or every second second scene. He's in every third or fourth scene, you know, until the end where he's pretty much in every scene. But yeah, I also have to comment on the runtime, by the way. Everybody's been like, what a psycho for making a 2-hour 20 slasher film. It's like never been done before or something, apparently. But man, it kind of just flew by, if I'm being honest. The first hour went by real quick and I'm like, shit, yeah, okay. I actually don't mind the pacing in this at all. I will admit, come the third act, I'm like, how the fuck do we still have like 45 minutes? Are we not like approaching to the end right this second? But they made it all work. And yeah, Terrifier 2, one of my absolute loves, if I'm being honest. I thought it was fantastic. All right, next up, let's talk VHS 99. VHS 99, man. I loved 1994 last year. I was a huge fan of that one, to be honest, and I think it was by far the best VHS movie. Not a huge fan of those movies. I'm not a huge fan of found footage movies, to be fair. But VHS 99 just felt really random. The stories didn't really feel like they went together, and none of them were really that enjoyable. Imagine a horror anthology where absolutely none of the segments are really any good. Some of them have their moments. There's that one where it's like a rock show underground and stuff. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of goofy as well with the effects and everything. That's cool. And I must admit, I did like the one where the fraternity... Is it not fraternity? That's guys, right? What are they called? You know what I'm talking about. The college girl to get into sorority. That's what it's called. Sorry, I'm not American. We don't have these things, okay? We don't call it that. Anyway... when she's going into the grave, being buried alive just to join this fucking stupid college thing. Who gives a shit? I don't understand these weird initiations that people do, but apparently they do them. Anyway, I did quite enjoy that one up until the monster, like the supernatural stuff started happening, and I'm like, oh, well, this is just kind of dumb now, because now anything can happen. Before it felt grounded, before it felt like semi-realistic in a way. Then you introduce monsters into a story that doesn't need that kind of supernatural element, and it really takes me out of it. It's only in there briefly, to be fair, but kind of wrecked it for me, and then, yeah, I don't know. Overall, basically, I think VHS 99 just felt annoying. It just felt annoying to me. Like, it wasn't shot well, not that it's really aiming to be shot well, since it's meant to be cam footage from 1999 from mostly teenagers and stuff just shooting random bullshit. But like, it just looks bad, and I don't like looking at it because it looks bad. I don't know what to tell you. In the end, I wasn't a huge fan of this, and it really disappointed me, especially after VHS 1994, which I think was, yeah, like I said, by far the best of those movies. Mainly, I think those movies suck. How many are there now? I think this was the 5th one, right? Yeah. I'm gonna say 1 movie out of 5 has been good, and that was 1994. 3 is atrocious. 1 is 2 is a bit better than 1, you know, and yeah, 5, 1999 is pretty much up there with, or down there with maybe 1. You know, it's okay, I suppose. That's just what I think. But it was interesting seeing Trevor from Grand Theft Auto getting tortured. That was weird. Anyway, next up. What's next? Deadstream. Night and day compared to VHS 1999 or any of the VHS movies, really. This is an example of a fantastic found footage film. Like, an example of a bad one would be the VHS movies. An example of a great one would be Deadstream. Deadstream is just phenomenal. I love that it has kind of a comedic edge to it. I love that the camera angles and everything are very believable. It's shot well. It's shot better than VHS, and that's because it's about a YouTuber or a streamer or whatever. And I love how much it pokes fun at modern day stuff like that. It pokes fun at like the internet and, you know, being demonetized and how that's the scariest thing ever and all this kind of stuff like that. I really just enjoyed that it had more of a comedic approach to it. It got really silly in moments, but fittingly so. It felt like it earned being silly in that kind of way. I even liked the main character in terms of it feeling like he was being a realistic sort of douchebag YouTuber kind of guy. Every reaction feels fake, but in a fantastic way. Yes is annoying. That main character is like so fucking irritating, but like he's supposed to be. We're basically watching a Logan Paul or whatever the fuck in a haunted house, you know? It's making fun of dumbass guys like that, and I really appreciated how in the know Deadstream feels. It really feels like it's coming from somebody who does spend quite a bit of time on the internet, rather than all these other weird movies about the internet that feel completely outdated and people don't, like, certain directors or writers or whatever, people in Hollywood clearly don't know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to movies about the internet sometimes, but Deadstream feels like it's coming from a really genuine place in that way. I really appreciate that. And I just really loved how hilarious this was and gross it was in moments and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I just appreciated how we go on this journey with this guy where he's got his camera set up. You can look at his cool tech that is, he's setting up cameras on the walls and streaming and everything. Like, there's just something about it that feels a lot more authentic than I was expecting, but it still managed to be very out of this world at times as well, if that makes any sense. It somehow managed to do both while also being very funny, while also being somewhat scary as well. Deadstream really impressed me, especially since I'm not a huge fan of found footage movies in general. Deadstream is an example of one that I really love. And then next up, the last one that I want to talk about is Barbarian, and I'm sorry because I got some bad news for you big old Barbarian fans. Look, the internet's been going nuts about Barbarian, and we didn't get it for about 2 months after, so I've been hearing praise. I've been hearing it as being the most what the fuck movie ever. I've been promised that you're never going to see what's coming. And once you think you've got it figured out, it's going to pivot into a completely wildly different direction. I've been promised over and over and over that it is shocking, wild, crazy, twists and turns everywhere. You're never going to know what's coming next. And I gotta say, bullshit! I don't understand what everybody's talking about. I think this is a great movie. I think Barbarian's like a 4 out of 5, an 8 out of 10 type movie. I loved it. I did. I actually did quite like it. I thought it was really effectively scary, especially in that first half hour. Oh my god, nothing is as effective as that first half hour. How creepy they make that staircase feel, and it just keeps going. Once you go underground and you find this fucking labyrinth that just keeps going, and it's just like absolutely terrifying. Like, thinking about yourself being in that situation, that was done super effectively. I also love Justin Long in this movie. I thought he played this douchebag character so damn well. That scene where he's trying to count every single square foot meter in this underground place that he's just found out about because he's greedy and he just wants to find out about as much money as he can make through this, even though he's going obliviously into this obviously haunted ass fucking scary place or whatever. He doesn't give a shit. All he's thinking about is the money. I love that he's like this douchebag and that there's kind of this commentary on cancelled celebrities and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot going for Barbarian that's great, but it's not as shocking as everybody's been making it out to be. It's really not. I think Barbarian, it's a bit of a one-trick pony. Am I insane in saying that? Maybe. Look, the first half hour, effective, scary. I was like fucking ready for I don't know what. I was expecting great things to come. And then the reveal happens half an hour in where it's the big woman. She's kind of like a monster, but not really. It is a human. They kind of humanize her a little bit. But essentially the way that the villain, the main villain in this movie acts, it's a bit of a supernatural entity. In a way. I don't think it technically is. People are probably going to have a problem with me saying that because technically it's just this inbred woman who was born underground. But the way that she acts, she's kind of invincible, this villain. She's kind of like can do many different kind of inhuman things. And when that happened, I was like, oh shit, I never saw that coming. And I didn't see that coming. And then it went on, and where it went on from there was just that it kind of continued. There wasn't really any more surprises after that. It was just about this woman attacking them, and it never really progressed from there, you know. It never really, I don't know. I did like that it turned into more of a comedy movie with Justin Long after that. I didn't see that coming. I did like that flashback part where it showed the origins of this villain and her dad or whatever. I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed this movie overall quite a lot. I just don't think it was quite as shocking as everybody's been making it out to be. And maybe if this came out at exactly the same time as it came out everywhere else, and I saw it in real time with everybody else, and I wasn't promised all these wild things, maybe I would have loved the fuck out of it too. But unfortunately, it just made me feel really disappointed in the end. I just wasn't blown away by this like everybody else seemed to be. I was just like, yeah, it's good. I was just like, yeah, it's good. But it's not something that has like a billion twists and turns. It's got one twist and turn. kind of. There's the half-hour reveal, and then after that, that's about it, really. I just don't feel like it had a huge slew of tricks up its sleeve after that. I feel like once the reveal happened, that's kind of what the movie had going for it. And I liked it. I liked what happened after that, and I loved what happened before that. But yeah, it just wasn't super surprising anymore. I feel like everybody was like, okay, once you think you've got it, it's going to be completely different. It's going to feel like a completely different movie. And it never really feels like a completely different movie. I don't know, they go underground and then that's where the majority of the movie takes place. It's not like it... You know what I mean? It didn't feel as wildly different as everybody's been saying. Anyway, I feel like I'm getting really rambly here. I don't know if what I'm saying even makes that much sense, and I'm probably repeating myself, so I'm just going to stop talking about it now. Overall, I think Barbarian is a great film. I do. I enjoy the fuck out of it. I just didn't love it as much as everybody else. So anyway, so I think that's about all that I have to say. I'm going to go now. Before you go, please do the things, which are like, comment, share, subscribe, all that shit. And I'm outie. Goodbye. Goodbye.